Welcome back to our Online Survival 3 Redemption podcast talking episode 6. The merge has happened, and per usual, ups and downs for you guys.
You want to go?
No, you go.
All right. I have to give my up this week to Rochelle. It's a little unfair to give it to anyone else. She had a fantastic episode. Great episode from her. If I had to pick a secondary up, I would say Anthony. Now, for down, I think it has to be Fan Guy this week. Even though he went to exile and we didn't see him on exile, he might end up getting something from that. I think that hurts him a lot more than it helps him, especially considering who went this week. So he's my down.
How about you, Aspen?
Obviously, I got to give it to my girl Rochelle. She killed that shit. She did a great job. And for my down, I would say Fan Guy, but just to switch it up and not do the same thing as Mike, I'm gonna say John. He kind of went down for me. He got a lot of eyes on him right now, and people starting to see him as a threat. So,
well, where to even begin with this shit? Let's see. We will begin with the early episode of the merge with Fan Guy using Anthony saying that old boomerang was coming after Fan Guy to, turn John against Anthony, which seemed to be successful. Any thoughts on
that? Fan Guy is coming off as like a godfather. Like he giving me real like godfather vibes. Like, I don't know. This is a different side of Fan Guy, I feel like. But it's interesting to see him play it like this. I wonder how far he'll get with this strategy. Yeah, I think it's gonna fuck him up, honestly. But yeah, he's strong arming a few people.
What the hell was Anthony doing in that chat, man? Why would you tell Fan Guy that? What are you doing? Are you trying to like make him paranoid of all things? Like it was such a weird conversation with people just spilling their guts with like little to no intervention from Fan Guy. I think that using that to get John on side was actually a smart move from Fan Guy this week. I think a lot of the downs aren't really necessarily like misplays on his part. They just the way the game seems to be going. But I think that getting John on side was a smart move because he kind of is just this like really honest free agent because for some reason he has no, like he hears one bad thing about Anthony that is a little bit of a stretch of a truth. And suddenly he wants nothing to do with his alliance he had with Anthony and T.
This was we talked about it in the chat a little bit, Fan Guy a little bit. Why do you guys think Fan Guy is seen as a big threat this season so far anyway?
I think he's just a competitive guy. And in the early challenges, he comes across as a competitive guy. He's played again. If people go back and watch season 1, they see him making the end and very nearly winning. I don't know how many of these people actually went back and bothered to watch season 1, but they like, let's say one person does, and they tell everyone Fan Guy made the end in his first season. He's played before and he's very competitive. That's a scary person. That would put the fear of God in pretty much any newbie if they hear someone like that's in the game.
I think Fan Guy just is a nice guy, he cool, he likable, and he is doing that thing where he make alliance with everybody. And I don't know. He, like Mike said, if anybody go back and watch his first season, I would think of him as a threat, but seeing his social game, seeing how he, like John was 100% not trying to work with this dude and straight up said, yeah, I'm coming for you. You a threat. And now he's like, you right. You are telling me something I never heard before. And it gotta be 100% truth, And so it's like, I don't know.
Do you guys think maybe the other returners have something to do with Fan Guy's threat level?
Yeah. I mean, Dot's already trying to insulate himself as making sure that Fan Guy's a bigger target than him. Obviously, Rochelle's doing her machinations to make sure that he's in hot water, and she's doing a very good job of it. Alex isn't exactly his number one fan. He can't fully trust him. I guess the only returnee that I haven't seen actively like trying to make him a target is Carrie. I mean, she's definitely been like, if someone mentioned him as a target, I don't think she was like, oh no, he's not scary. But like I don't remember her specifically going out of her way to make him a target. So
No, she didn't.
that's a lot of people trying to paint you as their shield, and that will make you into a shield no matter what reality is, because perception ends up being reality.
True. Well, let's go to some of these old teams trying to come back together. We have Alex, Miguel, and Nav really seeming to want to have Vicious back together for this vote, at least at first. Why do you think they just fell back into that? Do you think it's because Carrie was also back?
I think that's part of it, combined with the fact that they went down hard in numbers super early on. And from experience in other games, that bonds a team. If you're the underdogs and suddenly you get a chance to seize power from the other side, it's very tempting. It's very tempting to just be like, you know what, screw them for making us like vote out 3 people in a row. We're gonna get them back. So
Aspen, Carrie and Rochelle met for the first time. How do you think they get along, or do they?
I don't know. I didn't really get the energy that they was gonna get along. Like I kind of could tell when both of them like somebody or want to work with them. I don't know if I felt like they was, because I think that Rochelle sees that Carrie just trying to make it be all the old season people, and I don't think Rochelle really want that. You know, she trying to branch out and work with the new people, and so I don't think they're gonna get along. I think they're gonna butt heads with that, especially after how things turned out.
How about that conversation, Mike, between Carrie, Alex, and T? It's Carrie with the 2 people that voted her out pre-merge. But how do you think Carrie handled her return with that chat?
I think she did good. I mean, you can't not bring it up because it's the elephant in the room. I mean, it has to be addressed. I mean, she didn't like sit there and say, I will never work with either of you after what you've done, or anything like that. So pretty much anything short of that, there's like a chance. I think it makes sense that time has healed a little bit of the wounds with Alex, so he's not as in hot water with her as Anthony and T, who at this point, like a day ago, voted Carrie out of the game. After, again, and she came back this episode, I want to say, she came back this episode pissed about specifically the charade. Like I said in that episode where they tied the vote and then flipped on the revote. Like I told you that was a terrible move, and I said, that's a bad move. It's just gonna piss her off worse. Why did you do that? It was stupid. And I was right. She came back. She's like, I'm not mad I got voted out. I'm mad that you lied to me about it and put on the charade. So like, I was right about that, and I'm glad that she's like being like, don't do that. That's stupid. I'm pissed at you. She should be. She has every right to be upset about that.
I don't know, because she did also say, no, Anthony was like, I'm gonna give you a signal if it ain't the plan. He like, I'm gonna take my glasses off and turn them around and like do all this. And so I seen him do the signal. He did it when they was voting. So I thought that was him letting her know.
Okay, but that doesn't make it any better if you tell her right before the revote where she can't do anything about it. Like, really, she like just like she said, there wasn't anything she could realistically do about it. If she had an idol, she probably would have just played it no matter what they told her. So just tell her the damn truth. You know, that if they'd just told her the truth and she would have come back in, I'm pretty sure that she would have maybe not immediately worked with them, but I don't think she would be where she's at now, where she's not planning on working with them. Like,
Yeah.
the truth in a situation like that goes a long way. The idea that you always have to make a lie in a game like this is a bad idea. You know, I think that there are times that telling someone that you're voting them is a good move, and that would have been the time to do it.
Aspen, you weren't here last week. How did you feel about that plot with T and Anthony? And how do you think they did this week with Carrie returning?
So honestly, I agree with T and Anthony. Like, I would have never said we was gonna leave it up to chance anyway. That's dumb. No, I'm sorry. I am gonna work with this person I've been working with from the start of the game, which Anthony and T have been working together. So, like Mike said, I probably would have just been honest, but I did feel bad for T because like she seemed like she was like having a real hard time with it, you know, like she was crying and like I felt for her. I'm like, oh girl. But I mean it's a weird spot, you know, like what else was they supposed to do besides either tell her, or I would have just not even done the whole voting for everybody the first time shit, you know. I would have let that shit go. But I mean, I feel like everybody handled it how I expected them to. Anthony like, yeah, what she said, which I thought was so funny. But I don't think she gonna forgive them just for the simple fact of they did lie and make it seem like she had a chance, or and that wasn't the case. And so I don't really think I see her working with them. She gonna be trying to get them out this whole time, so they better get her out.
And it's a little sad from like the perspective of if they'd have just told her the truth and she came back in trying to work with them. I see Carrie, like that's her newbies right there. Those were the ones she had a connection with. And now she's not going to want to work with them. So her only option is to like work with their attorneys who, let's face it, are never going to be the final five. They are way too dysfunctional to ever like successfully even make it to the final 6 or 7 intact with all 5 of them. They're going to break apart and she's going to be forced to pick a side. But like, she doesn't have those newbies that she can trust and work with anymore because they alienated her. And you can't blame her for not wanting to work with them now.
Let's go to Alex and Fanguy. They're kind of continuing their little game of chess where they're still trying to have Rochelle after Fanguy and Dot after Alex. Mike, how are you feeling about their little chess game still happening at the moment?
the little proxy war that they've got going on. It's funny. I just want the gloves to come off sooner rather than later and them just be like, I'm going for you, but not in that many words. Like they don't have to sit down and tell each other they're going for each other. But I want them to just aim for each other instead of this like chess game of picking off their minions, as entertaining as that is. Just because I want to see this conflict reach its climax and not like a slow, agonizing, like watch their allies go one by one and then they go after losing immunity. You know what I mean? Because they are both immunity threats. That's the interesting thing, is one of them can theoretically comp out, although this is a pretty averagely good cast, so I don't really see that happening.
Aspen, we talked about it a little bit, but why do you think Rochelle was the first one to try and work with, T and Anthony? They did have a bit of an alliance before, but do you think that's why?
Yeah, and I think that she just liked them. I think she really did like their vibe, and I would honestly, I would trust new people over trusting Fanguy again, considering what happened. So, I mean, I don't blame her, you know, it put her in a good spot. I feel like her game was underestimated our season and she really came to play. I'm really impressed with my girl, bruh.
Yeah.
Why do you think T trusts Rochelle so much to tell her about her advantage?
I think it's because they honestly, but probably both being little black girls. That's what I thought. That's why me and Rochelle bonded, and we was from the same state and stuff. So I just probably imagine that it's easy to get along with her. She probably how old is T? Ain't T like 18 or young?
Yeah, well, she was 18 during this when it was recorded.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Rochelle just like young people and she get along with them and seem like they would be friends outside of this. So I just think they was drawn to each other and I hope that they can keep working together. I kind of like their dynamic, even with Dot in there, they little threesome with Dot. I kind of like that too.
Yeah, I didn't know T was that young. She's the same age as Anthony, right? When this was filmed. I mean, same age still now, duh. But that's how aging works. But like, that's crazy to me because you think Anthony's like seems like an actual like child, like a high school child, but a child, and like T seems like an adult, like you know what I mean? And it's so funny that they're the same age, but it doesn't seem like they are.
How do you feel about T telling Rochelle about her advantage, Mike?
I think that there are times to tell someone about your advantage, and there are times to keep it a secret. This is such a fun advantage to completely keep a secret because the amount of chaos you can instill where people are sitting there going, who flipped? Who flipped on me? What happened? Who changed their vote? Why are there 7 votes there? That many people are against me, you know, like, and it would take a while for them to figure out because this isn't an advantage that normally exists. So now that someone knows, it'll probably be figured out pretty quickly. Even though I think it was a good decision for her. From an entertainment standpoint, not a good decision, but from a gameplay standpoint, I think it was the right move. I mean, of all the people, you're like, you want to use this to get rid of Fan Guy. That's what she wants to do with it. Rochelle wants to get rid of Fan Guy. You trust Rochelle. This is a way to make this move happen. And so you're going to lay those seeds now so you don't like spring this on Rochelle 20 minutes before the vote. And you guys are both going to be able to work your respective people to make this vote and this advantage play a reality. I think it was the right move to bring in someone who can bring in more people, kind of. You got to trust someone eventually to win the game.
So it's been a game and a half they've played together, but Dot and Carrie in a one-on-one chat for the first time ever. Do you think they can actually have their own Texas connection, or how do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, I totally think they can end up working together, mostly because of not so much. I don't know. It's hard to tell if 2 people will get along who've never really met face to face or video to video, but like they're both social players. They're both like they both are adjacent to Fan Guy in the grand scheme of this like web of alliances. I don't see why they wouldn't end up working together, especially if Fan Guy ends up being dethroned in the near future and they're gonna have to pick up the pieces. I think they're capable of doing it, and I could definitely see them having their own connection. I don't think they'll be each other's number ones by any means, but I think that they could be strong allies for sure. You seem to disagree.
Aspen.
Fuck no, they are not gonna get along. These 2 big ass Texas ass personalities, and you know they gonna clash. They both just got 2 big of hats and belt buckles and cowboy boots on, and bro, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. They both from Texas, and so if I know anything about them Texans, it's just that one, they kind of slow, you know. So I don't know how well that's gonna play out, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think Dot hate Fan Guy too much, and I think Carrie, I think she actually likes Fan Guy. You know, I think that's her Texas connection, her and Fan Guy. Yeah.
I don't think Dot hates Fan Guy. I think he's just playing smart or trying to.
Yeah, I just mean like hate him in the game and like is actively every time he get in the chat with somebody besides Fan Guy talk about how much Fan Guy.
That's what I mean too. I mean, I don't think he's actively sabotaging him. I think he's passively sabotaging him, and I think there's a difference. Like he's not trying to rally votes against him. He's just trying to make sure that he looks like a bad guy compared to him, and that's fine. You know, it's not a good ally move. But he's not actively against Fan Guy, I don't think. Yes.
Aspen, is Carrie actually Texan after that trivia question about Texas she missed?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. It was very embarrassing. I don't know how she is even showing her face in Texas. She probably ain't left the house in a minute.
What was the question?
When Texas became a state.
Oh, okay. I don't know when Michigan became a state in the union. I don't.
I probably couldn't say Colorado either.
I know I can't say it either, but no other state has state pride like Texas, and so I thought that they would like beat that into the kids from like day one.
I thought so too. Before we get more to trivia, just one last thing so we could speed this up a little. how do you guys feel about Dot's plan to kind of with Fan Guy, try and tell the newbies that the vets are kind of after him while actively trying to work with both sides, I guess.
Smart. I think it's a high risk, high reward play. And like you can't be a very like extremely passive player when you're a big personality like Dot. So I think it's a good move. It might backfire, but I still think it's like on paper a good move.
You guys have any thoughts on trivia and Dot and John's win?
I'm trying to decide if I want to say this because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but ain't no fucking way John won. Ain't no
What?
ain't,
Fair and square.
ain't no way he beat Alex. No, I'm
But
not.
he did. He had his hands up or like away. Like, what do you mean, bro? He won.
No.
I was impressed. That was a good showing, especially
good
from
showing from
John. John took every question that he got, I think.
You got him all
I
right.
think one of them I feel like he was guessing on when I was watching the episode. I didn't take notes or anything.
It was probably the history one.
Yeah, but I feel like the other ones he just knew cold, which was impressive. That's a good win.
I mean, the Prince one was kind of easy, I thought. And then the Ric Flair one, if you've seen any wrestling, it's probably Ric Flair. So
I mean, I knew none of the wrestling ones. I knew the majority of the rest of the ones. I mean, I didn't know the Texas one. The Gandhi one was a reused question. You used that in On My Battle, which hadn't aired, so fair enough. But yeah, I knew that one because I remember shit like that.
And Alex, he went for that 5 on the music, and it was a 1976 question that he didn't know. So
yeah. I was surprised how many of the music ones I knew, but good on both of those. The groups was interesting. I'm curious to hear if Carrie had any reasoning for those groups because we didn't get to see that.
Sure
she was trying to get herself a win, right?
I'd have to go back and watch. I don't remember.
That's fine. I'm a little curious about who she put in her group. I think I don't know, man. Because she ended up losing in the Dot group, right?
Yeah,
that felt like I don't know. I feel like that might have been like the stronger group. I mean, you had Alex in the other group, but like other than that, I don't know. I feel like she picked the harder group.
True.
And I don't remember what her categories were, but I feel like she got the harder categories too. Like I'm a little curious as to her thinking. But
yeah, I'd have to go back and watch. I don't remember because they did have some different categories. So
yep.
Let's go to John sending Fan Guy to exile and Anthony and T learning about this and not trusting John Aspen.
Oh God, I'm telling you, like Fan Guy is so he seduce you and like he just so like drag you in. Oh my God, I'm like, damn. How did Fan Guy go from being John's #1 target to sending this man to exile? How? I don't get it.
Fan Guy is good at making these alliances somehow.
I don't get it. Did Fan Guy get a chance at a advantage?
He will in the next episode, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if John. I don't know. I ain't feeling John the way y'all is. I think like I don't know if he understand what's going on. Like, does he not know that you get powers from exile? Does he just?
He probably doesn't know that, honestly.
Yeah, and so yeah, I guess
he knew it was a positive. Like he said, I want to send Fan Guy, and he said, I want to protect him.
Yeah, he wanted to protect Fan Guy.
Exactly. So I don't know. I just am curious as to how far this gonna get John, because fucking around with Fan Guy, he got a target.
I like it from John because I really do, and he's been at like near or at the very bottom of my list of like probability to win the game for a while, but he's starting to creep up now because this I think was a pretty good episode. Sure, he kind of alienated T and Anthony, but he's not gonna go, you would think, before Fan Guy, barring immunity and exile bullshit. And if he's picking that side, which kind of just lost that vote. But if he's picking that side, he's not going to probably be targeted unless they're going to keep on this thing that I hate, where it's like you don't just go for the power player of the opposing alliance, I should say. You don't just go for the power player. You're like, oh, we need to get all their minions out first, and then the power player finds a way to do what they do. So like I think they need to go for the Kingpin if they're really planning to like hurt Fanguy. But like John, I feel like is in a better position now. And let's say Fanguy's a pretty decent ally to have. And I think John definitely proved himself to him. So he proved he can win a challenge. So really this episode raised his stock a lot. And I probably should have given him my secondary up this week, but
Aspen, how did you feel about Godfather Fanguy in this chat with Anthony before he learned he got sent to exile?
Honestly, yo, I ain't gonna lie. It kind of it kind of made me feel good, you know. Like I'm like, damn, I need to take notes. There's a few motherfuckers I need to get on and pull a Fanguy on, you know. Like he like cut the bullshit, you know. I was almost scared. Like I felt scared. Like I'm like, whoa, like bro, you better tell him whatever he want to know, bro. Like, man, Fanguy was like, I don't know if he just knows that he can take advantage of Anthony like that. And if so, that's pretty sad because I mean Anthony do show it, so it's his own fault. But damn, he like wrung Anthony dry and like got everything he wanted out of him and then kicked his ass to the curb.
I mean, Anthony did spill some info, but he also then went around and told everybody about this conversation with Fanguy. So how do you think that worked out?
I mean, I feel like that's a good move on him because it kind of made Fanguy look like a bully and shit, you know, and like, oh, Fanguy, you said you gonna save him, huh? And then people honestly might think that Fanguy had something to do with saving Anthony, even though he didn't. So it could work out for Anthony's benefit, which you know I love because we want Anthony to win.
I don't know if I'd go that far that I want him to win, but he's definitely entertaining, you know, and I'm always team good TV. But that chat was funny to me because we as the viewers know that Fanguy's not gonna be around, and then he's like, I'm gonna be real with you. I have the allies. You need to sit down, get in line behind me, or I'm gonna be done with you. And then it's just like, you're going to exile. And he's like, oh, but I want to work with you. I want to work with you. The like tone shift was so good. That was a great chat.
Let's see what else to talk about. We have Dot, of course, trying to put a target on Alex. How do you think he did going about that?
I mean,
I think he did. Yeah. I mean, no, he definitely made Rochelle second guess working with Alex. I feel like he made T and Anthony. I don't think they gonna want to really work with Alex. I don't feel like he'll get through to like Nav. Nav really likes Alex, and I don't really know who Alex got on his side right now though. Besides, because
I think he has Nav and Rochelle still. I don't think Dot really like changed their allegiances with one chat. I would hope not, but I don't know.
Yeah, Rochelle was trying to get Alex out at one point. She was like, Alex or Miguel, right?
Yeah, maybe. But like,
I think it was more she was just trying to switch it to Miguel.
Yeah, I feel like she's like, Dot's a vote. Okay, he wants Alex. Other people want this. I want Miguel. You know, that was very clear that like everyone else just was ambivalent towards voting Miguel, and then Rochelle's like, this is what's going to happen, and she made it happen. So props to her.
Hell yes, you did.
She did. Before we get there, though, we had Carrie and Alex talking about possibly switching on T. So Rochelle tells T, and then T also has a conversation with Anthony. They discuss her power as well. Do you think it's good that she waited to use the power on fan guy. She wants to anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad she didn't use it tonight. I mean, tonight. I'm glad she didn't use it last night. I mean, whatever night. Because she didn't need to, and that would have been fucking embarrassing for her to use it and not on like Anthony and
And that
not
was just
need
a
it.
tie, and it goes back to a tie.
So I mean, but I mean, I don't know. She being too mouthy about this, you know. Like I don't know. Rochelle gonna be able to keep the secret, but I don't know that Anthony will.
Do you think Anthony will have loose lips over this, Mike?
Anthony is the patron saint of loose lips sink ships. So yeah. I feel like telling Rochelle about the plan was a good idea, but I feel like Anthony's the kind of person that you can and should probably have as an ally, but like you just need to tell him in the very last chat before the vote, you need to sit him down and say, "Hey Anthony, it's going to be you unless you vote X. Sorry buddy, but I got your back." You know, like what Fan Guy did, but nicer, and also, you know, actually be aligned with them instead of just like Fan Guy's weird like collecting the like infinity stones of every single player needs to be in my court. You know, it's okay to have enemies.
Not the
You can
Infinity
try and be
Stones.
friends with everyone, but it's not gonna work.
Well, then Rochelle did push for her target, Miguel, to go. She had a good conversation with Nav, saying that it could be, well, making Nav think that it's either Alex or Miguel, which it could have been Alex if she had not changed it to Miguel. How do you guys like how Rochelle went about this?
It was a very well done, well executed plan, I think. She really has no reason at all. I mean, she got rid of someone she met at the merge, right? They never shared a tribe. They never had a connection. You know, she had like what, one, maybe two chats with him, and they were like, one was a group chat for sure. Maybe not even more than the one chat. I mean, she picked a person that doesn't benefit her game and said, they don't benefit my game directly, so they need to go. And then she rallied the duo that is alienated by a lot of people, and she convinced Nav to be on her side. And that was pretty much enough alongside Alex, right? No,
Well,
wait,
the vote
no,
was
it
crazy.
wasn't
It
Alex.
was Nav. Well, the first vote was Nav, Rochelle, Anthony, and T, who all voted for Miguel. And then Carrie, Alex, and Miguel, and John all voted for Anthony, and then Dot voted for.
Yep. And then Alex and Nav both switched on the revote, and Dot threw his vote on. Yeah. So she did eventually get Alex to vote with her, and also got Nav to vote against her in the revote. I'm curious about that. I don't get that at all. Was he just
I think
trying?
from Nav's point of view is that he thought it was either Miguel or Alex. So once it was Miguel or Anthony, it's
Okay.
better for Nav's game to vote at Anthony rather than Miguel. But then Alex switched, so.
That was interesting, I gotta say. Why, I don't know why Alex really super switched either. Maybe he got like stressed about the vote on his name. It's really strange. It's really interesting. But she still did a good job because she got the result in the end.
Any other thoughts on Rochelle Aspen?
Shouts out to my girl, man. She be having that baby crying in the background and she still be making moves. So hey, she doing it. She doing it. I love to see it. I didn't expect her to be playing that hard this time, but yeah, she switched some shit up and I like it. She gonna go far.
She also did this great thing, which I'm glad somebody caught in the chat, where during her conversation with Miguel, she's the one that said that she didn't feel like she had any allies in the game. But then during a conversation with Nav, she says that Miguel's the one that said that. And then in the conversation with Alex, Rochelle's the one that did mention Nav's name, and she kind of puts it on Miguel. So she did this weird thing where she was the one telling Miguel this thing, but then she just blamed it on Miguel. So it worked, I guess.
Yep, it worked.
Well, any other thoughts on this episode I did not touch upon?
Hmm.
Besides, I called it.
Yes, Mike, you did call it last week. Aspen, you weren't here, but Mike predicted that Miguel was going to be the one voted out.
Wow.
Yep. I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. I'm not making a prediction for next week. I'm just gonna
That was my
cut it.
next question, though. Predictions.
I'll make predictions. I'm not gonna predict the boot. You will. All right, I'll go. All right. So I do think that we're gonna see Fan Guy come back, and he's gonna be like, "What the hell?" And he's gonna be in danger. I think this is going to be a very like, everyone's gonna be walking around whispering. They're gonna be like, "Do we go for Fan Guy? Is Fan Guy good for my game? Is he legit with me?" You know, it's like John's gonna be like, "Is he really with me?" And all these other people, and Shell's gonna be like, "Is this the time to take the shot?" And then I think Fanguy's going to win this immunity. That's my prediction. I think he's going to be the target, but I think he's going to bail himself out with a lucky or skillful immunity win. And then shit's going to go crazy. And like Dot's name's going to be out there. John's name's going to be out there. And from there, I don't know. I feel like the side of Rochelle, Alex, Nav has the upper hand right now. And I don't think they're going to lose it yet next week.
I'm gonna also throw in Alex. I think he gonna be in trouble. I think I could see Fanguy winning. Wait, what's the challenge?
The challenge is like a knockout competition where it's just 2 people at a time, and then if you get it right, then you choose who goes up against each other next. It's about state facts, however.
Oof,
Oh, I mean, the problem with my prediction now is that everyone's gonna keep putting a Fan Guy into the ringer, so he's probably gonna go a lot. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna stick with my initial prediction, but like that's a bad challenge when you're the target, because you have to win every other round pretty much, and then keep knocking out your competition. It's tough. I could be wrong, and people could be afraid to piss him off, though. You never know. He is like the Godfather here, so he could scare people into not targeting him.
I could see Alex winning. I could see him doing good.
It's state trivia. I don't feel like anyone like necessarily knows a shit ton about
State trivia
states.
is tough.
Maybe it'll be John again. I mean, he knew his trivia, so like hell, you know.
You don't think so, Aspen?
No, I'm not believing that. I'm not going for it. It was a fluke, and it ain't happening again.
My prediction's still Fan Guy who's gonna win it after being like, he's gonna be in really hot water and he's gonna win it with his back against the wall. But like, I think you're discounting John way too hard. I think he's I mean, he proved last episode he knows his trivia, as does like Dot 1 too. You know, he's in contention.
Nobody wants to predict who's the next boot.
Oof. I'm gonna say probably either Fan Guy if he don't win, or maybe Alex or Anthony.
I don't know. I want to keep my like streak of like calling a single boot and getting it right.
Your streak of 1.
Right. Yeah, my streak of 1. Well, I don't think I've like very specifically named boots in the past. So
that's true.
Oh man. Let me think. Oh, this is tough. I think the boot this week, I think it'll be John. I think if he doesn't win the challenge, I said he had a good episode, but he was in a bad spot at the starts of the episode. And like, he does have enemies. He's close to Fan Guy, who I don't think is in a position of power anymore. I think Fan Guy's going to win the challenge. So like that puts John in hot water in a similar way that Miguel was in hot water. And we have the although he might repay him with the exile thing. That's right. Okay, you know what though? That's still my prediction. Just it's John. That's my prediction. Maybe Fan Guy will bail out John instead with exile if he wins. So that's my prediction. Sorry if I cursed you, John. Even though it's not how it was pre-filmed, but we'll say sorry if I cursed you.
While we're here with Miguel, who just got the boot at the merge, the crazy merge vote, Miguel. But, go ahead.
No, just what you said was crazy. I watching through it. I literally like, damn, it was this close both times, and I was like, damn, it just took one person to be on my side. One person.
Well, before we get there, I want to go back to the beginning. On your first team with some of the returnees. Like, what was your first impressions really of either like Fan Guy and Carrie and Alex? Did you think they might were actually working together?
No, my freaking gullible ass was like, no, just because they're all like returning doesn't mean they're working together. Like we're all a team. It's all fucking daisies and roses and everything. No, it wasn't that. I was left out of loop a lot, like watching everything back. I was like, damn, I really thought they were like with me. I was like, hell no, I was left out of like most conversations. Yeah, it was bad.
What was the most surprising thing that you saw that you were left out of?
Not mostly it was just like the way, I guess, when Alex came in the game, even though he was late, I was like, dang, I really want to work with Alex. I really wanted to work with Alex. And then hearing back that he was just like, we can get ready to go. I'm down. I'm down for that. Everybody wants to do that. And I was like, damn. I was really wanted to work with him. Even though everybody was like, yeah, you shouldn't work with Alex. I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. And nope. Did not do that.
Do you think it was your joke that you said when he was coming in? You were like, we gotta get rid of Alex, even though it was a joke.
I guess I guess so.
God.
Like, that's one thing I really like realized, that like people will analyze everything you say. And I was like, I'm the type of person that like I will literally say anything. I kid around so much. These people were like, he did say this. And I was like, half the things I say is like complete BS. So like I learned my lesson. I like everybody will analyze whatever you say. So yeah, I learned that one. It was bad.
Well, Mike or Aspen, do you have any questions before we get closer to the merge talk? Any pre-merge questions, I guess?
I guess my question is the swap. How did you feel when you like really when you landed on that tribe? Were you confident you'd make it out of that if you went to a bunch of tribals or no?
I felt like I would be okay. Like I honestly, like I never was worried. I never felt like I was ever really like, this is it for me. Even in the merge, I was like, damn. I heard when Anthony said people were saying my name. Even like right before, like when we went to the merge, I was like, that's just like that's like the only time. Like let alone other people were saying my name, and so I never ever really felt like I was a danger. I felt like I had all these people that really liked me, and which they say they like me, they just weren't really working with me, which is like not what you want to hear. Like, oh, we like you, but we're not really working with him. You know what I mean? Then that kind of like it like sucked.
Do you feel like not losing a challenge on that tribe hurt you moving into the merge?
I wouldn't know. I don't want to say it hurt me necessarily. I just felt like maybe, I don't know. I think I could have done a lot better actually trying to build the connections I probably should have been building more than anything. I feel like that was a really big thing I lacked on. Like just being like the really like trying to be, I guess, a likable person. It wasn't really cutting it. I needed to like really, really do more, I guess. Mm-hmm.
I'm curious as to who you felt like do you feel like you had a number one, like somebody that you wanted to go to the top with?
Looking back at it again, no, I never felt like I had a number one, but I did feel like I had a tight group. And that was again a stupid mistake. I being a newbie and a new person to this game, I realized like, dang, if you don't like have a set number one from the beginning, other people are gonna find their number ones and you're just gonna be left out. And that's, I guess, what really happened to me. And it took like watching it and actually playing the game to realize that like, wow, it's like you have to get from the get go and find your number one, or you're kind of screwed. You're gonna get locked out of all these other groups that are forming. So yeah, that kind of sucked.
Who would you have wanted to be your number one? Like looking back on it now, like if you could be like, I would have chose this one person, you know?
Mm-hmm. If we had ended up on the same team, I think it would have been Dot. Dot, I love playing with Dot. Like he was so cool and so chill. And like, he's just funny as hell too. But he's a lot of people didn't like the way he was playing. And at some points he did make a lot of promises. With other teams and stuff like that. But overall, yeah, I think Dot, he was just a very cool person to play with.
Watching it back and seeing the boomerang, is there anybody that surprises you watching it back?
I guess one of the person that really surprised me was T, because I didn't get to really see her play since we were always on opposite side of the opposite teams and everything. But she was really smart. Like she knew what she was doing, even though she kind of was really like didn't seem like she knew what she was doing. she knew what she was doing. She was really good at playing that game.
Let's get to the merge. Coming into the merge, what was your plan going into the merge?
My plan was honestly, again, to try to stick with the original Team Vicious. I feel like, I get it. Everybody had their own little plans, and but in my mind, I guess I was thinking it as if like if it is Team Vicious versus Team Boomerang still, I feel like at least through the merge, the first vote, we should at least have the majority numbers. I feel like so if all Team Vicious would have voted together and get another Team Boomerang out, we'd at least have the majority from at least that first vote, and I would have felt better about it. But I guess like looking back at it, nobody felt that way. Nobody was thinking that way. Like,
Well, do you think that Fan Guy being sent to exile might have messed some of that up?
yeah, the minute I heard he went to exile, I did think about that too. Like, damn, I think that really messed up a lot of the votes too, because he could have been a really big vote in that as well. So I also, there's like these little things that I think like just one little thing could have made a difference. But since he did get exiled, I feel like we still had a chance with John. But since Nav wasn't on that, Team Vicious thing, he was on his own game from that point, and I didn't realize that. So because if Nav would have stuck to voting at Anthony the very first time, it would have been Anthony, and we would have had the majority, and it could have been a different game. But I had to learn that the hard way. Like, yep, not everybody's gonna stick to their teams that you think they are going to.
Do you guys have any merge questions before I continue?
Any merge questions?
Yes.
Or just like,
Well,
I have an
this
overall
episode.
question
Or
that I
that, go
ask
ahead.
like
Go ahead.
most people. Do you have a favorite moment from your time playing the game? Before you're on the jury, yeah. Like while you were playing, since that's what we've seen. Do you have a favorite moment?
It's like my favorite, but not favorite moment when my computer froze and during the charade challenge, and I could not do anything but see Fan Guy yelling at me. He was just like, he's like, go slower, and I was like, dude, on my side, I'm going as slow as possible. He couldn't see, he couldn't understand the thing I was doing.
Oh,
and
man.
just like I thought about that from days like after it happened. I was like, dang, that really would happen to me on my turn. Like it just like was the shittiest thing ever. So like it's funny to laugh about it now. It was just like, wow, ridiculous.
Do you have a least favorite person? Like, who's your least favorite to play with? Like, you don't never want to play with them again.
Honestly, I didn't think I never felt that way towards anybody. Like, if anything, Anthony was a bit too much at times. And we all know that he could be too much at times. But he wasn't. I never was like, man, I never want to play with this man ever again. Like because he does have his funny moments, and he's like just says the most ridiculous things ever. That you're just like, you have to laugh at it. You just have to. So, but no, I never felt like that towards anybody, honestly. So,
As been trying to get that rivals season set up, like, who do you hate?
Yeah, no, nobody. I don't think so. Hopefully, everybody felt the same way towards me. But damn, honestly, like I just try to be myself, and that's what I think. It just really sucked. Everybody was like, I like him. I don't know where he stands. Almost every single person said that about me, and I was like, wow, I
You
thought I
had
would do a
a-
better job.
Damn fantastic social game. But you just didn't quite get the strategic, like there are different strategic games, and I think you played a decent one, but I think you just didn't play the one that fit this cast. There's a lot of times you can be a good, likable, passive player and do well, but this cast wanted like people to like stake into the ground, be like, I'm with you hardcore. This is my plan for the next 8 rounds. Like you just weren't playing that way.
Yeah. Like even John started playing that way, like in the Murray, I was like, John, like, oh my god, like I was like, John was going ham too this round. I was like, oh yeah, he surprised me when I watched it back, and how he said he was with Fan Guy, because like at the time, like I didn't really think they were that much together, but John really was like, oh, Fan Guy's the only one that's really with me, and like I was like, well, I didn't really see it that way at the time, so it really surprised me when he chose him to go to exile. And I was like, wow, I think John's doing a better thing at this game than I am. I was like, yeah.
How did you feel when John chose you and then he told you guys were targets?
that we weren't targets.
Well, that you were his targets when he chose you to be on
I
the team.
remember. Yeah. I will always say this about John. He is truthful. He does not care. He will never, ever, ever care. He's just like, yeah, I'm not with you. He's like, you just moving forward, I'm not with you. So just, I'm just like, yeah, I respect that. You tell me in my face. You just have
It's
to.
pretty funny. Well, watching this episode back, I mean, do you think there's anything you could have done in this episode? It was kind of a blindside in a way to you, really. But do you think anything went wrong with like your talk with Rochelle and T or something that Rochelle wanted you out? Or why do you think you had? Well, go ahead and answer that first, and I'll ask the other question.
At least on the side with Rochelle and T. I at the back of my mind, I always knew they were kind of already on a side. It was whether it was like with Anthony's side. It wasn't they weren't with me. I know that for a fact, just because I had not talked to them most of the game like that. So I knew at the back of my mind for the merge vote, like they weren't really gonna be with me. I just didn't think they were gonna be plotting against me. That was the thing. I was just like, they're not with me, but I don't think they're against me. But hell yeah, they were against my ass. they were going for me. And yeah, just watching it because the name was switching, from Alex to me to Anthony. Because a lot of the time the momentum was going for Alex at a good point. And I guess I don't know if I just said something in a weird way where even Alex started questioning me, and it was like, yeah, it was weird. And I was like, what did I say? And I guess I said something about Nav. Oh, Rochelle wanted Nav out or something like that. And I guess
which was true. She said that name in that conversation with you.
And I'm like, I want to just make it up. But to him, just because I said I think, it was over. Just I said I think, and it was over. I'm telling you, they analyze every little thing, and I now take that away. I got it now. I'm gonna watch every word I say moving forward, and I ever play again. Like, oh my god, I can't say. I'm gonna keep it short and simple. How about that? Short and simple.
Now, my other question was because you brought up that people didn't feel like you had their back or for whatever reason, but why do you think that was?
I don't know. Because even I told Alex, and again, he took it sideways. I literally said, Alex, I'm with you. Like, I know how you can be. Like I feel like you're like you get very like you think everybody's coming for you. I am not coming for you. And he's like, he said that really weird. I think he's coming for me. I'm like, I'm like, I'm not coming for you. I wanted to work with him so bad. And Alex brain just works in a whole different way. And I don't know. So that was one thing. And then everybody else was like, yeah, I just don't know where he lies. And I honestly felt like I was being truthful to at least my side. And for the most part, everybody did stick with me. Majority did. Like I said, it was just these little things that happened that it could have changed everything. Just like Fanguy being exiled. Maybe even like Nav sticking with us just for this one vote. Like these little things I think about, like just that thing could have changed the whole game, but it happened. Yeah, now, yeah.
Do you think since you were on exile when Nicole got voted out over Nav, do you think Nav would have got voted out over Nicole if you were on exile that time?
Honestly, possibly. I don't know. Because again, I feel like nobody was really that much connected to Nav either. And like that's what was really like baffling, that he was, I guess that's why in a sense he wasn't with us that much. But to me, just looking at it from my perspective, I just feel like it would have been better just to keep the numbers for sure than Nav trying to trust the Rochelle and T and Anthony, because I don't know. That was my opinion, but I guess Nav wanted to do what he wanted to do for his game, and I mean I respect it for him.
This is my last question before I turn it back to Mike and Aspen. Spoiler alert for anybody. This will not be Miguel's last game. You will see Miguel again in a future game. But knowing that you come back and play another game and seeing the returnees in this game, do you think returnees are paranoid just because these returnees in this season are paranoid? Are returnees paranoid when they play a second
game? Hell yeah, we are. I just feel like the minute anybody finds out you're a returnee, I guess everybody else. To me, I was just like, oh, cool, they played a game. Like, that's cool. like I want to play with them. But everybody else, them themselves, they're definitely paranoid. They think everybody's out to get me because I played before. I'm just like, I mean, I get it. I get why you're thinking that. But in my perspective, I would love to play with people who played before because like that's just they know what they're doing and like and it's cool to an extent. No, to an extent. But yeah.
I got a kind of a follow-up question. As a returning player, would you rather play with a cast of some returnees and newbies, or would you rather play with a cast of all returnees?
Is it weird? Honestly, I would love to play with people with returnees, because that's that at that point you kind of have a sense of how everybody does play, and I think it makes it a little bit more like exciting. You're like, damn, like anything can happen now because kind of know how everybody plays, and I just feel like everybody is always on the edge, especially when everybody is smart in that game. Like, oh, they played before, you got to watch out for everybody.
It's so much paranoia as I don't know if you ended up watching the online battle, but there was we did the all returnees.
Everybody was paranoid, bro.
It's so much. It's so much. Yeah, everyone or how they played to an extent, but like it's not that easy. It's harder honestly than playing as a newbie. You only get one chance to be brand new, and that's I think the best experience tends to be, because you get too much like pre-existing relationships just make certain people are never going to work with you, or certain people are going to be like ride or dies because they love each other outside of the game. So it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, Mike, you don't want to play an all returnees game?
Well, if
You
I
won
if
the
I
all
could,
returnees game, Mike.
I know I won the all returnees game, but if I could like erase everyone's memories, including my own, and come back in as a newbie, that's like the most fun, playing a new series for the first time. You know what I mean? The returnee season was a lot of fun. I think it was a lot more fun because I won, but it really was kind of like rough to come in and like I already like Days and Fanguy don't like me right now. That changed a little bit, especially with Fanguy. But like, it's a totally different type of game. It's just like pre-gaming, not even necessarily like conscious pre-gaming. It's just something that's already happened. You know what I mean? So
I get it. It's just like you come in with no baggage.
You play a game with like returnee captains or a few returnees and some newbies. I haven't done that here. But like that would be, spoiler alert, I'm not on the next season of whatever that airs, but like yeah, it's that sounds like really interesting to me. You know what I mean? There is the stigma of being targeted for being a returnee, but like you get to meet a lot of new people, and there's not as many pre-existing relationships to have to navigate around.
Well, if I ever do a Big Brother game, it's going to be all returnees first. So, some of you maybe will be in that all returnee Big Brother game. But
I mean, I'll always say yes if I'm not exceedingly busy. But like, because it is always fun. But I do think it's a lot more like pure to play with a lot of new people. It's a different experience. You meet new people too. Meeting new people's fun. Like most of the people that are going to be returning, I've probably met or had at least talked to on a podcast. You know what I mean?
What were you gonna say, Aspen?
I just was gonna say, like, bro, don't fucking bring me back unless you bring back another winner, bro, because being a returnee don't got shit to do with being a returning winner. Like that's different. That's different.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm planning if he asks me, I'll come back. But like, so I won. So I won and I beat a bunch of returnees. So don't worry, Aspen.
Miguel's taking notes on Winners Alliance happening before my eyes.
I'm right here. I'm like, oh, they talking right in front of me too. Like, all right.
It really was a big part of the online battles. Everyone's like, I'm coming in with a clean slate, but really no one did. I would love to come in with a completely clean slate. I would love to like act like I didn't know anybody. But the fact of the matter is no one else is going to be doing that. It's like a prisoner's dilemma. You know what I mean? You can't really realistically do it.
Everybody's out for blood, no matter what. They can say they're not. Everybody's out for blood at one point. You're like, maybe not right at the beginning, but eventually
will come. Any final questions for Miguel?
Okay. After your first vote out, I'm sorry to keep you here because I know you want to get back to nap, but like, what are you looking for as a juror? What are you looking for as in your who you want to win?
basically who I wanted to win. I just really wanted somebody who I didn't care at that point after being voted out. All I wanted was somebody who actually gave it their all and like didn't just get their way through the end. And like I wanted somebody who just genuinely like you didn't expect them to be there, but they were there, and they're like, but because they worked their ass off to get there. And I was just like, yeah, you want that person just who gave it their all from the very beginning. And I just saw like that's all you can ask for.
All right.
Well, lastly, I like to play a little game sometimes, not all the time, where I say a person's name and I want you to give the first word that comes to mind when I say that player's
It'd be
name.
so bad. It'd be so bad. Okay.
We will begin with Carrie with a K.
Loud.
We will go with Nicole.
Funny.
How about Nav?
Sneaky.
How about Rochelle?
I also thought sneaky, but now I'll go with sneaky. She was also kind of sneaky.
How about Anthony?
Oh God. The first one that came to mind was obnoxious. I don't feel about it, but that was the first one that came to mind. I don't sorry, Anthony. That's just the first one that came up.
How about Dot?
Lay back.
How about T?
Little. I don't know why little. That's just like the perfect word to describe her, little.
How about Van Guy?
Smart.
And how about Alex?
Two-faced. I'm gonna count that as one word. Two-faced.
There's a hyphen. Totally one word.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is all, Miguel. Thank you for joining me. And
Yeah,
us
thank you guys for
this
having
podcast.
me. Thank you guys.
And thanks for playing.
For sure. It was fun, a great time. Caused me a lot of issues afterwards, but great time.
Cost you a lot of issues afterwards.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
I really just like everybody really liked me.
Oh,
I feel like I had
Oh, yeah.
everybody. I just the lingering feeling of everybody liked me. I was like, damn, I believe every single person.
Actually, one last thing you see in this next preview, I don't know if you saw, but people are trying to blame you for voting for Alex. Why do you think that happened?
It's easy scapegoat. Easy.
Yeah. Whoever the boot is, it's the easiest person to be like, oh, the straight vote was them.
Yeah.
Not me.
It was like, yeah.